All right, folks, welcome on in the Wednesday discussion. I'm your host, Jay-Z Sports, and this is the Handicap Sports Podcast. Wednesday after Wednesday after Wednesday, I'll be dialing in on each PGA Tour event, going through the betting card, going through each player profile, going through stats to success, the whole 9 yards. I do that all through one website called rickrungood.com. Not an ad, wish it was. First installment was last week for the Waste Management Phoenix Open. So running it back this week now for Riviera. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. So the Genesis Invitational at Riviera Country Club, this will be the second elevated event of the year. Pretty much every eligible golfer on the PGA Tour will be in this event. We'll finally get Will Zalatoris back after he has missed a couple events since maybe this lingering back issue that he caught on with at the BMW Championship. And folks, the cat is back. Tiger Woods is back. Tiger Woods will be playing this week at Riviera. This is actually Tiger Woods' tournament. The winner of the Genesis Invitational on the 18th tee goes up to shake Tiger's hand after they win. Joaquin Niemann did it last year when he won. Obviously, he's in LIV, so he won't be here this year, but he says it was one of the coolest moments that he's ever experienced on the PGA Tour. So, really good stuff there. And yeah, I mean, Riviera is a true test, man. You got to be an elite ball striker. You got to be an elite shot maker, and you have to have a complete game. There's not one stat that you really want to hone into that's going to make a difference this week. You want to be a complete player across the board. Creativity is going to be massive. Riviera has got one of the hardest. It has some of the hardest fairways to hit on tour. There's a ton of undulation on the greens and fairways. There's going to be a ton of times where a player thinks they have a really good drive on the fairway, and just the undulation aspect of the course is going to bring that ball all the way to the rough. We'll have Kikuyu rough this week, and yeah, in terms of off the tee, distance and accuracy are obviously pretty important. I'd give the edge to distance, just given how hard these fairways are to hit, and the fact that these fairways are some of the hardest to hit on the PGA Tour. They're so below tour average. Might as well just bomb the ball away. You probably won't hit the fairway and just be as close to the green and to the pin as possible. Approach play, we're going to be looking at 150 to 200 yards out is going to be the bulk of our approach shots. This place also has some of the lowest green and regulation percentages on the PGA Tour, which places a ton of emphasis on around the green play. We'll be looking at sand saves. We'll be looking at scrambling. So that's going to be very important to hone in on those players who excel well there. And then the putting surface this week is going to be POA. Time and time again at Riviera, the biggest thing are putts in between, I want to say, 5 feet and 15 feet. Like I said, these greens being so hard to hit around the green play is going to be so huge. So going up and down for par, whether you're in the sand, whether you're on the fringe, you're chipping onto the green, being able to nail 7-footers, 10-footers for par is going to be very elite this week. So yeah, like I said, you got to have a complete game. Another big stat I'm going to be looking at is bogey avoidance. There's a chance players could bogey every hole in this course. That's happened multiple times, and in the blink of an eye, a player could do that, right on the front nine. So you really have to be dialed in on all phases of the game. You got to be creative with your shots. You got to know how to, ball flight. You got to know how to move the ball. So yeah, I'll be looking into players, who are elite in that sense and who have a complete game. So yeah, let's hop right into rickrungood.com. Like we did last week, we'll go top to bottom on the board. Like I said, this Rick Rungood platform is unbelievable. We have salaries, DK salaries, projected ownership. He has some of the best projected ownership in the land. Michael Cavalunas works on that. He's unbelievable. We'll hop into some golfer profiles. We'll see how golfers have been playing as of late. I think that's very important at Riviera. just being hot and actually playing a lot of golf. I think that's pretty important. So starting off top to bottom, Jon Rahm, most expensive golfer in the field at $11,100, 21% owned. Third place finish last week at Phoenix. Has some pretty good history here, 21 in 2022, 5th in 2021, 17th in 2020, and 9th in 2019. Really can't go wrong with Rahm. He's got an absolute complete game, drives the ball well, flushes his irons, has great around the green play. I know he had that one sick chip in from the sand last week at TPC Scottsdale, which was unbelievable. And his putting is on fire as well. So, like I said, can't go wrong with Jon Rahm. I could get to him in DFS, but some of these guys down here could be some good pivots. Like even honestly, I'm very surprised Scotty's here. I'm seeing Scotty here. Scotty's the second, most expensive golfer in the field at 10,700 DK price. His projected ownership is 13%. Just coming off a win at the Phoenix, and Scotty was absolutely striping the ball. I didn't look at strokes gained metrics throughout the whole tournament. I just wanted to see it after because I was so curious on where Scotty was. Because I thought for the last two rounds, Scotty was pulling drive. Scotty was in the desert in the rough. Looked over my friend. It's like this guy hasn't hit a fairway in the longest time, and time after again, he just hit the second shot. Was unbelievable. He was saving par. He was going up and down. I mean, he put on one of the better performances I've ever seen on the PGA Tour, and it was just a joy to watch. So hats off to Scotty. But if we hop into some golfer profiles real quick, let's just see how really good he played. Yeah, Scotty gained 12 in the ball striking category, 9.5 on approach, 13 tee to green. The putter was absolutely unbelievable. Remember, folks, one of the big things that we talked about last week regarding Scotty was this putter. You see all this red, how it's really been shaky as of late. This 4 with the putter is something really, really scary to see. And I don't see why Scotty doesn't play well. He got a T7 last year, I believe. Scotty had a T7 last year, coming off the first place at the Phoenix. I think Scotty has another good week. I really do. And at this projected ownership, I'm very surprised to see him at this 13%. But we'll keep rolling down the board. Rory McIlroy, I know he didn't have the greatest performance last week, finishing in 32nd at TPC Scottsdale, but I love Rory this week. Like I said, you have to be creative. You have to be a shot maker. You got to know how to move your ball off the tee. With your irons, you got to be an elite around the green player. I think Rory has that. I think Rory is just probably has the most complete game in this field. I don't really care about projected ownership this week. I absolutely love Rory McIlroy. I bet him 10-1. I think he's going to have a huge bounce back week. I really like Rory this week. Another guy to turn to now at 10,100 is JT at this 13.35 projected ownership. Came off an unbelievable round at Phoenix. Ended up coming in T5, came in 4th. Plays really well at Riviera. He has 2 missed cuts in 2021 and 2020. That doesn't worry me that much. Let's just hop into JT's golfer profile real quick because I want to see how well he played last week. And I know as of late it might be a little shaky, but no. Yeah, I mean, his around the green play is stellar. This is what I really like to see. This is a good profile as of late. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In his last 7 recorded starts, JT gained strokes around the green 7 times, 8 in the ball striking category at TPC Scottsdale, off the tee, just under 5 strokes, which he has been struggling with as of late. Lost both at the Farmers and at the Century. 12 shots gained tee to green. I mean, you like to see something like this out of JT, kind of just trending up, finding his game. I like JT as well, so kind of just going through this. I just like jotting down players, seeing who's in good form and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go Scotty cheap, Rory and then JT's cool here too. Xander, I felt like at TPC Scottsdale, Xander had every chance, to get in that mix, to get in that last group on Sunday, but I think what hole was it? It was 15. He left two in the bunker on that par five, which you absolutely cannot do. You need that is a huge birdie hole, and it was just, you know, I don't know if it was mental. I don't know what happened. Did he? Yeah, he lost one off the green. I mean, the approach and ball striking numbers have been absolutely stellar. You know, Xander played unbelievable last week, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get to him this week after, you know, he might be down a little bit. 16% owned. I probably won't, even though the course history is nice. It's going to be hard for me to get to him, just given, like, you know, this JT number, this Scotty number, and a couple of guys down here that I'd most likely like to pivot to. Homa is at 17. I think that's a little too much for Homa, as well as Finau. Even though both of these players, you know, played fairly well here, I think that's a little bit too much, and I think it could find more value down here. This is why I love the site so much. Like a Sung J.M., $9,400, 11% projected ownership. 6th place at the Phoenix Open, 4th at the Farmers, 18th at the Amex. Hasn't really played here much at the 33rd, and has a 33rd last year, but I mean, this guy is just a DFS machine. He's constantly placing. He's always making cuts. I think he actually missed a cut at the Sony, but yeah, literally just going, like, if we look at the fall swing here and kind of going back into, yeah, this guy has one missed cut in how long? This last missed cut, not including the Sony Open missed cut, which was earlier this January. The last time he was cut was the Genesis Scottish Open in July. Approach number stellar, ball striking elite, around the green play really getting much better. Game 4 at Phoenix. Tee to green plays money. I love Sungjae this week, and if I'm getting Sungjae at a discount, give me that all day long. Sungjae, mark it down. I like that price on him. Colin at 15.66. He came in second here last year. I was on him last week. Just couldn't find anything going really. The irons really weren't there. Off the tee was around the green was He probably lost with the putter. That's pretty high for me on Colin. I'll probably fade Colin. Sam Burns had played unbelievable last week. 6th at the Phoenix. Has played here for the past 4 years. It's a 3rd place finish and a 23rd and 2 missed cuts. You know, I like that number on Sam Burns. If we're going to get a 9,100 on Sam Burns at an 11% ownership, and we're looking at like a Tony Finau or Max Homa, I'm taking that 600. I'm taking that $400 cut all day long. I like Burns a lot. I always like Burns. I think he's a solid player. I just want to see as of late. I know he probably gained like crazy here. P6 around the green, very good. Yeah, Century Tournament champions. He struggled tee to green a bit, but it's really coming up. It's really coming back alive, and this is the trend I really like to see. A T11 at the American Express, a T6 at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Yeah, the around the green play looks good. Yeah, it looks really good. I like Burnsy this week as well. That's a good number on him. Moving down the list, Cantlay at 17, Victor at 19. So I'm surprised by Victor not really that surprised by Victor, honestly, because he's just been so good here. A 4th place finish in 22, a 5th place finish in 21. Struggled a little bit in honestly, he played fine. He probably lost a lot around the green, which I am I'm not worried about that with Victor, but the thing is, it's what has been struggling with him in the past year. Around the green, he's lost 3.25 last week at Phoenix. But you could see down here, the middle of like the summer of last year, he really couldn't find anything around the green until he found something at the Open Championship where he finished T4. But it has been getting much better. He plays well at this place. You know, he's a great driver of the golf ball. He gained 4 at the Phoenix. He gained 2, almost 2.5 at Pebble. You know, I could really get to Victor. I understand he might be a little too the way the projected ownership might be a little too much, but I like the 8,900 price. Like, if you're looking at 8,900 Victor Hovland against an 8,800 Cam Young, I'm probably going to go Victor, just given, that's close, though. I like Victor there. So, Willie Z, 8,700. He's coming right back. He's going to be 10% owned. He's played fairly well at this place at 26 and 22, at 15th and 21, and 9th in 2018. The last time Willie Z played was the Century, right? I believe it was the Century Tournament Champions. Let me just double check. Alex Forrest. No, I'm sorry, the Farmers who was cut. Oh wow, he played the Amex as well. Yeah, I'm probably going to be taking a flyer on Willie Z this week as well. I just want to see him in action a little bit more. Jordan Spieth at 8,600 at this 14 number. See, like, I'd much rather do a Jordan Spieth at this 14% number than like a Pat Cantlay at a 17. Jordan has been playing great. As of late at this place, 26 and 22, 15th in 2021, 9th in 2018. I think that looks like two missed cuts, but he played great last week. A 6th place finish at the Waste Management Open. He was there until the end. Is Jordan Spieth finding something? That is the question. Is he finding something? The answer to that is we don't really know. We don't really know if he's finding something because he has a T6 finish at the Phoenix Open. He gained 8 on approach and 9 in the ball striking category. A little bit on around the green, lost in the putter. But prior to that, his numbers were brutal. The Century, he had finished T13, but that's a small field. Lost in approach, lost in ball striking. Putter was average. The Sony was miserable. 18T Pebble was miserable in a weak field. I don't know with Jordan. That's tough to say. I'm going to see how ownership kind of rides out with Jordan there moving forward throughout the week, but that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Tom Kim. I like Tom Kim a lot this week. I think he's a great shot maker. I think he knows how to, like I said, with the driving distance, yes, driving distance could be important here, but, if you're short off the tee, what you got to do here is you got to take your game and you got to make a way for it to work here. And I think Tom Kim can definitely do that. Him and his caddy have been unbelievable together. He was just mic'd up at the Phoenix Open. And I think they have a great relationship going. $8,500. When was the last time Tom Kim was this cheap? Seriously. When was the last time Tom Kim was this cheap in the DFS market? Tom Kim. He's 8,500. Not at the Phoenix, not at the Amex, not at the Sony. Century was 87. Hero World Challenge. We won't count that because it was 65. 89 at the CJ Cup. No. FedEx St. Jude, he was 8,000. The last time he was this cheap was in August of 2022. I love Tom Kim this week. I think this course fits in very well. I think he's got a lot of confidence in the system, and I think he's going to bounce back. He's always got confidence. I want to go back to Tom Kim, actually. I know he ranked really well in my model. I think he ranked like 4th in my model. Off the tee, a little struggle, but I don't like that, but I could really get to Tom Kim this week. I really can. I think he'll show up. Like that number on Tommy. Something to track going through the week. J-Day, isn't it unbelievable to see how good J-Day is playing? After everything he's gone through, 8,400, 12% ownership, 5th at the Phoenix, 7th at the Farmers, 18th at the Amex, just in really good form. Might be able to get to J-Day this week at 12%. Matty Fitz. Matty Fitz is really the one guy who does have a complete game here, but at this 15%, I don't know if I'm going to get there. He does have a 5th place finish here in 2021. Just hopping into Matty Fitz. Let's just see where this kind of shakes out with Fitzy. The approach number. I don't like this trend right here. He used to just be flushing these all across the board, and it seems like he's in in a stretch right now where he's relying a lot around the green, not really doing it on approach, not doing it off the tee is pretty average. Flyer on Fitzy this week. Flyer on Fitzy. I could be wrong though, but it doesn't make sense at this 15 number. Decky, I absolutely love him this week. I love him so much this week at 8,200 at a 10% owned. This is what I want to see. This is value right here. Decky at 8,200. I know he didn't at the 30th at the Phoenix, which is definitely something people did not like, but plays well here. One of his main things is around the green play, and a big thing here is I tend to look at Augusta National as a comp course, just given the undulation, of the holes. Not really. Don't get too into the weeds with it, but there's a correlation of players who play well at Augusta play well here, and Decky's definitely one of them. Going down the board, Adam Scott as well. He's also one here, but he's a 14% owned. I love this range right here. J. Rose, Scott, Hatton, Decky. If I had to rank these, I'd probably go Decky. I go Decky. I go Decky. I go. Just giving roses. No. Yeah, I'd go Decky, Scott, Rose, Hatton. But Hatton's been on an absolute tear. I think Hatton gained 10 in the ball striking category. The top end of the top. I put a ticket on Hatton after the cut, 60-1. He was birdie machine on Saturday. Sunday was 10 in the ball striking category. I mean, this golfer profile is nice. Has T ever played here before? Once in 2019, but he got cut. But that doesn't really bother me. I like the way he's playing. I like any of those guys right here, honestly. I think this is a good bulk of guys to kind of hone in on. Decky, Hatton, Scott, and Rose. You could find good value there. Very good value there. Let me write that down. Decky, Scott, Rose, Hatton. Why not play all of them? Ricky, it is so good to see how well he's been playing. 10th. Sorry, folks. Yeah. 10th at the 10th at the Phoenix, 11th at the Farmers. He's played here in 2020, 20th finish, but he's been striping the ball. Siwoo, I like Siwoo a lot this week. I know Poa is his best surface. The thing with Siwoo is he's been relying a lot with the putter as of late, which is a little bit worrisome. But you got to think that he's going to bounce back with his ball striking numbers, with his approach number. Look at this putting. I think ever since he trains those grips, I mean, he lost 12 at the BMW Championship. He's gained in the last 4 with the putter. I like this, and the thing with this is, it might not always be sustainable, but I think he could come back in a little bit of other phases of the game. And if we just hop into these splits as well, we could see. Poa is his best. Bermuda and Bentgrass are kind of the 2 least. And, he's playing well as of late. Siwoo, he has a W at the Sony, T22 at the Amex, T25 at the Farmers, T23 at the Phoenix Open. Yes, doing a lot with the putter, like I said, but, that's good to see. And Siwoo is bound to come back with his irons because he flushes them. President's Cup team played great, him and Tom Kent. Yep. Don't mind Siwoo at that number at all. I'm going to write that down, actually. Sahith Theegala, I think a little bit of the hype has kind of fallen off Sahith. 39th last week. I mean, he did come in 4th at the Farmers. Probably not going to get to him. Wyndham Clark had a very good day last week. That 5-7 number is interesting. I thought it'd be a little bit more. Keegan and Seamus, probably not get to them. Corey Connor. Taylor Montgomery, 16% projected on at $7,600. He's pretty cheap, honestly. But that projected ownership is pretty brutal. Adam Hadwin played him last week in DFS, was unbelievable. Could run it back with Hadwin, but I think I like some other players down here in this range. Shane Lowry, as of late, I thought Shane Lowry could have been a good play this week. He has not been playing well as of lately. Shane Lowry, we've never seen this side of Shane Lowry. I mean, going back to the DP World Tour Championship in Dubai back in November, until now, off the tee has been brutal. Approach has been brutal. Ball striking brutal. I think he needs to figure out something with this game. Shane Lowry is a fade this week, folks. Fade Lowry this week. I don't like Lowry. Who I do like in this range down here is Fleetwood. I love Tommy Fleetwood. I had him last week in my DFS lineups. Very poor that he missed the cut, but I think he bounces back this week. I think him and Hatton are some of the big plays, kind of in that area. Let's see. Yeah, around the green's been unbelievable. Approach a little bit even here, but like going back to this is why Rick Rungo's so good, because you get to see a European strokes gain where they play on the European tour. How's he doing? Poa's average, but like he's just one of like the shot makers. He flushes his irons. He ranks really well and around the green. Like I said, his putting's good. Tee to green fourth. Yeah, I like Fleetwood. I like Fleetwood this week at that number. So I'm definitely going to get the Fleetwood. Jot that down. See down here a little bit more. See Wood, 7,300. I'll probably bet on him to make the cut. Bo Hostler. This is the guy who I need to hone in on right now. Big Wave Dave has been an absolute beast on the bag. Absolute beast. Shout out Bob the Sports, Big Wave, Bo Hostler, gorgeous dinner at Rayo's Hollywood. Yeah, I mean, I love this profile. These last two, T11 at the Pebble, T14 at the Phoenix, almost hold out. The approach play is almost getting close to even, but the off the tee is gorgeous. Around the green, this guy's a wizard with his wedges. The putting looks good. I think he's pretty good on Poa. Yeah, Poa is one of his best. Has he played here before? He's never won on the PGA Tour, and I'm waiting for the win. Please give it to us, Bo. Please. You and Big Wave, that would be so special. Genesis. T48 and 22, T15 and 19. Not bad. I just love the way he's been playing lately, and I've honestly been playing him in all my lineups. So I'm definitely going to get the Bo. Kind of rounding this out in the 6,000 range. One guy I do want to hone in on right here, if I could find him. Wasn't Seabass. Adrian. No chance you guys know who this is. But the good thing about rickrungood.com is that he has stats for the European Tour. And this guy's on an absolute tear. Gaining on approach like crazy. Gaining off the tee like crazy. The ball striking numbers are elite. He won at the Australian Open, a T4 at the Ras Al Khaimah Championship on the European Tour last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. D-Pre World Tour Championship, 7th. Like, this is the stat profile you want to see. I might get banged on this guy. Since, I haven't really taken him ever. He barely plays in the PGA Tour, but he's definitely worth a shot just given how he's been playing as of late. So that's a golf profile that I'd absolutely love to see. And his price is at what? Where is he? Oh, I forgot. Thomas Dietrich is another one who I love. Thomas Dietrich is another one who I really like a lot. I actually tweeted something out about Thomas Dietrich. Upsides and downsides on Thomas Dietrich. I actually had a free bet. I had a free bet on FanDuel, and I bet on Thomas Dietrich 220, 7,100 priced. Upsides. He's second in the field on bogey avoidance, which is huge. 18th in the field in strokes gained driving distance. Third in scrambling. 7th in approach in his last 24. But a couple of his downsides are he's never played at Rift. Poa is his worst putting surface. And he's a little average around the green. But, just given how he's been playing as of late, he rarely misses cuts. He's been playing great on the fall swing. I've been riding him all day long in the fall swing. I like this number here on him and this projected ownership value. Like Adrian I might get to. Patrick Rogers has been on an absolute, he's a good fantasy player. Seabez is good around the green. Yeah, kind of rolling down into these guys down here. Gets a little iffy, but Kevin T-Way's been playing really well as well. 32nd at the Phoenix, 18th at the Farmers. I always see him on later boards. So yeah. And kind of get in this range, you got to get into the weeds. You kind of got to hone in on some guys here, but a bulk of that, like, I love this range right here. And then, like I said, I love Rory this week. But yeah, another huge week. Riviera Country Club, one of my favorite tournaments on the PGA Tour. It's just such a tough test. You got to be elite. You got to be elite across the board. And you got to have a good golf mind to win this event. And it brings out the best of these players. That's the Wednesday discussion. Jay-Z Sports, Handicap Sports Podcast. Let me know down below in the comments what would you like to see different. What do you want me to keep doing? And stuff like that. Folks, we're in the heart. We're not in the heart. We are in the good part of the PGA Tour season. Masters are coming up. We're getting into, major tournaments. It's a really exciting time on the PGA Tour. No more football's on, so now we absolutely lock in to PGA Tour golf. Going to be a doozy this week. Going to be a doozy this weekend. I'm sure the Riv is going to be pristine as ever. Good luck on your bets. Good luck in the DFS world. We'll see you folks next week. Love you. Peace.